Thanks for joining us on Observations. I'm host John Walsh. Today we're talking about issues affecting Volusia County. Our guest today, Joe Hannoush, a candidate for U.S. Congress, former mayor of Ponce Inlet, Nancy Epps, and Volusia School Board member, Ruben Colón. Thank you for joining us. 2020 census just concluded. Means redistricting. Who are going to be the winners and who are going to be the losers?
So I will tell you, I was quite disappointed in Deltona. We only went up by about 7,000, I believe it was. I think we hit 93,000. And so I think that the participation in the census was very low. I think that the efforts by the census folks, given the pandemic, was limited. And so I think we're going to pay for this for the next 10 years as a result of the lack of participation.
Wow.
Well, I would hope that, well, not hope, but I mean, given that the low participation in just Deltona, I mean, I would assume that would be low participation everywhere. So that might kind of even things out a little bit. I'm not really sure though, but yeah, it'll redraw our maps for all the seats really, and that creates some opportunities, but also it's a distraction to a lot. I mean, I know when I ran for state representative in 2018 and 2020, I used to have to carry around a map with me on my clipboard just to
So you
see
didn't
what
cross
the
the district
was, right.
line, yeah?
Yeah, so it was very gerrymandered, and I hope that doesn't happen again. I hope a lot of these make sense. But what were you saying, Ruben?
I think it will. I think redistricting is a tool of both
Balance.
parties. I wish I could say balance, but I think it's for gerrymandering. I mean, they think
So
of
lack
these,
of balance.
correct. They think of the lines, and if we extend this way, what is going to be the impact of that? And so,
There's some crazy district maps that I've seen. There's a special election going on for the Congressional District 20 right now. There's, if you look at the district, it looks like an E. It kind of like pops out into nowhere land in Miami-Dade, comes back in about 3 separate areas. And the registration is about 80% Democrat. So it's we're Florida. We're pretty purple here. I know down south we're a little more, Democrat leaning. But for a district to be 80% one way, I mean, that's gerrymandering. And the way it looks is just incredible.
But on the other hand, it's the party in power. So it has a chance to balance out if, the other side gets the majority. But, a lot of states don't use their government to do the districting. They have some kind of a agency or whatever you want to call it that does it. Yeah, independent, thank you. That I think Florida should look at, really, because this comes up all the time. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be an argument. It went to court last time.
At least every 10 years.
Yeah, it was even less than that last time because by the time it went to court and everything.
Right.
So a lot of people like Joe running for office, well, where am I running? I don't even know yet because the census was late and then, the redistricting hasn't even happened yet. And it causes a lot of problems for people.
So this migration of these people that are coming to Florida, to Volusia County, their political, party affiliations, that's going to change the complexion of our community as well?
Yeah, well, what I would do is, political parties are private organizations. What are they even doing on our taxpayer-funded government documents like ballots and voter registration cards? I would remove them. It's like having an NRA party or, register to vote as an NRA member, like, or Sierra Club, whatever, name your private organization.
Oh, those are extremes.
Those are extremes. Well, I'm an extreme. I use extreme examples, but yeah, the political parties. I mean, why are they even recognized? Not recognized, they're fine, but they shouldn't be literally on our ballots or voter registration cards. I think and people will go to voting polls just, I'll vote Republican because Republicans are the good guys, Democrats are bad guys, or vice versa. So I would rather go to nonpartisan, and people actually do research on their candidates. Listen to debates, read the Observer.
A lot of thank you, but a lot of local elections claim to be non-party.
Right, but they become
nonpartisan.
partisan when the parties get involved. Believe me, I ran for county council twice, and both years it was the year that President Obama was running, so of course I was running against a Democrat, and it mattered. It made a big difference.
Right. Right.
The local parties will have their voter guides that they hand out to
Right.
voters, that literally as
like-
they're parking to vote.
Yep.
And it's
Or there's-
amazing.
as you're standing in line
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
vote.
yeah.
Needs to be addressed, no doubt about it. I don't want to be picking on the schools, but another issue at hand. Volusia County schools have 77 classrooms and 129 support staff vacancies. Is the trend going to change?
We are hoping that it will, but one of the things that's
How's that
happened
hoping working out?
Oh, we're working on it. As the labor market is hurting, a lot of those jobs that you're talking about are in that price range or in that salary range of most businesses that are struggling right now. We have a lot of vacancies in paraprofessionals, and it wasn't until probably about 6 to 8 months ago, or when Buc-ee's came to town, when people started to realize, you know what, our wages are not enough. Folks who last election said $15 an hour, no way, you can't get anybody for less than $15 an hour. And so as we negotiate our union contracts, the contract that we're working on right now is from 3 years ago. We're in negotiations right now. And so how does a school district go from, okay, you've got folks making $9, $10 an hour with the minimum wage. So right there, we had that requirement to go up to 10. Now, all of a sudden, the rate that they probably deserve is $15, $16 an hour, because things have changed as a result of COVID. So we're playing catch up right now as it relates to that. As far as instructional, we know that a lot of college programs are closing down. Education is not something that folks want to go into. Starting teacher pay, $47,500 in Volusia County, $44,500, $600. And so it definitely, a lot of folks are not going into education right now.
So $15 an hour doesn't put them in the apartments that are being built.
No, it does not.
No. Quite a challenge.
Quite a challenge.
One of the comments that I recently heard, a school district, I believe it was in Texas, that school academies are all the rage, that partnering with a private industry, private business to create curriculum that's specific to that job. This particular school district said no more. The school academies will be to train new teachers.
And so we do have academies for teaching, in addition to expanding our vocational academies. Vocational education went away for a little while.
Sure did.
Folks wanted, to only preach the 4-year college track. Mm-hmm. And so we neglected the military. It was college. And so the trades are back. I'm proud at my district. We just opened an HVAC academy at Pine Ridge. We're working on an electrical academy at Mainland and Taylor. And I'm really excited about the one in Taylor because they don't have any academies out in Pearson. And so that's all coming back. And again, I always say, our goal, my goal as a school board member is to get students prepared either for the workforce, for college, or the military.
Your job is getting harder and harder every day. So we have all these people coming in. We're having fewer teachers and staff to support them. What are we going to do? Change the model?
Well, it is changing. Education is evolving. A lot of students are going online. A lot of opportunities are online. Education is not one size fits all. We have voucher programs. We have academies in school. So, we're having to compete with other entities in order to be the most relevant. And I'm a school choice person. I believe every family needs to make the decision that is best for their child. Sometimes the private school is the best situation. Sometimes there are medical needs that can't be met at the public school. And so, I believe that every family must do what is best for them. But things are changing, and education's facing a paradigm shift right now where I think we're headed in the right direction, to be quite honest with you.
All right. Talking about changing gears a little bit. This is, it's maybe a little challenge for you all. Florida versus Kentucky this Saturday. Anybody?
Florida, of course.
Florida? How about FSU and Syracuse?
FSU.
FSU? Good loyal answers
Right.
all the way around. NASCAR moved their formerly known Firecracker 400 to August. Is it working? Who's it? Why? And
I had no idea why they did it, number one. I mean, it's been in July ever since I've been here, I think. And that's a long time because I've been here since 1965. So it's, I never did really see a good logical explanation of why they moved it. I think the turnout was down a little bit, but I'm really not absolutely certain. Looked like it was a pretty good crowd. I just happened to be at a meeting in that area that day, but it didn't look like it was the kind of turnout that I'm used to seeing from Firecracker.
I wasn't sure why they did it either, and didn't know what the outcome was this year, but I didn't think it was an overwhelming success. You tie that to the $2 billion in the tourism industry that have been invested in the area. I don't know if it's working or not.
I'm a big fan of NASCAR, and I actually attend the races, and it's heartbreaking because I know going to the races, it gets full. Florida loves NASCAR. From all over the place, Southeast, they love NASCAR, and so I hope it works for them because I think that they really need an injection of success to continue on. However, it was sad to see it go.
Yeah.
The new speedway is amazing. I will say that. It's just unbelievable what they built.
We toured at one time when it was under construction, and our tour guide pointed out that there is a 7-inch arc from one end of the concourse to the other because of the curvature of the earth.
Right, I remember that too.
It's crazy. 2020, there was a referendum that changed the Volusia County Sheriff's Office to a constitutional office. What's changed?
It's now a partisan race.
Right.
Believe it or not, yeah.
They made three races that were part of it. Well, 5, I guess, really
Five,
partisan that were not partisan before. Well, 2 of them were new seats, of course, or new offices, I should say. But the other 3, the
tax collector.
Right, tax collector,
the county clerk, I think, is one.
County clerk, and the election supervisor, and the sheriff. Were all, and the was it the public defender?
Tax collector, we already said?
Yeah, tax collector, and what's the other office that they
might just be.
Well, at any rate.
Property appraiser?
I think so. I think it was property appraiser.
Probably.
Okay. Anyway, as Joe said, it was better when it was nonpartisan, in my opinion.
Yeah. Luckily, we didn't have any elections, as far as I know. Other than tax collector, there was a primary for that, where all voters can vote in the primary because there was 2 Republicans. But as far as the general election, I don't think anyone ran against the sheriff, and no one ran against Lisa Lewis or Laura. So that was it. But I'm hoping, and I know some other counties, they have the county commissions. By the way, we're the only county in Volusia County that call it a council. Everyone else in Florida, it's a commission. Right. So some of them are partisan, though.
It's hard work in both markets, believe me, because they get mixed up all the time. We have councilmen in our city and commissioners. Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would like to just make them all nonpartisan, and I hope they do that. But I think the cost went up to the taxpayers because we went to constitutional officers. Because now they all have their own departments and everything. They have their own HR and that kind of stuff. So
maybe it explains the 3.4% increase in the property tax rate.
Maybe.
Well, that was what they tried to say, but we did a lot of research. And at least the sheriff's office, all of those expenses that they quoted were just money that was moved from the county budget to the sheriff's budget. It really didn't cost anything new. So, that was a little sleight of hand there. Mm-hmm. And I haven't looked closely at the other offices, but, Lisa Lewis was already moving into a new office, so that wasn't an added expense. Laura Roth, I don't think the clerk's office changed at all. And, of course, the other 2 are new offices, so that's logical. They're going to cost a little bit. But still, the services were being provided already by the county. So it was not new money. There may be some new expenses, but I don't know. I just think they could have still found them.
I was hoping to hear crime rate down and, all of those sort of things as a result of it. But really, it's just political.
Yeah,
it is. And actually, if you look at Sheriff Chitwood, he doesn't necessarily answer to a whole lot of folks other than the voters now, which is also.
Well, that hasn't changed.
No.
Well,
even
seemingly.
when he did answer to them, he didn't answer to them.
Yeah, so he seems to be more at liberty to do the things that he feels are best in the department, rather than having to answer to the county council all the time.
And he is the expert.
And one last thing about that, it was Amendment 10. I think it's 2018, I believe it was, and there was, or if I remember correctly, there was 4 different issues associated with that, and it failed in Volusia County. So, and it's still passed statewide. So the state basically determined how Volusia County is going to run things. And it was like 4 different issues, like the age for judges, I think was one, and something veterans related. And it was like 4 different issues. And who knows what people voted for.
Well, that's the topic you didn't bring up, but those, what do they call that?
Charter.
When they string several different topics together in one amendment, they need to stop that. The legislature needs to stop that. People... I can't vote for 2 things at the same time.
Not just
to
the
be separate
legislature.
issues.
Yes, the federal.
That
also.
starts at the top. I was going to say
Everywhere.
the federal level.
No,
You bet.
The bill doesn't exist anymore.
Right,
No,
and you can't
not
read.
real.
You can't even read these bills. I mean, we're almost lucky at the state level. Like federal level, it's like just insane. Like thousands of pages.
Oh, yeah.
I'll see some of the congressmen like tweet out a picture, literally like this high, like 3 feet on their desk, and then we have 72
They have
hours to
all
read
weekend. Yeah, right, to read it.
it. No one's gonna read that.
Hand it to a staffer. Good luck. City of Daytona is having an election, Zone 2. The primary just resulted in Ken Strickland by 13 votes over Larry McDermott. Who's going to win?
You know, Ken has a lot of community support. Larry has a strong background, I guess you could say, and he also has a lot of community support. I mean, obviously the vote showed that. But Ken's been out there attending the meetings for a long time and speaking out about issues that he saw that he didn't feel were being handled correctly. He was very involved, for instance, in the meetings about developing the homeless shelter, because I was very involved with that. So I was at most of those meetings. And so I think Ken has a really strong shot. No guarantees, of course. I mean, I'm not saying, yes, he's going to win, but I was really surprised how well he did, quite frankly, because I saw Larry had a lot of support from the business community. But I really think Ken has a lot of public support, so it'll be interesting.
All right, great.
And I don't have a bone in
Right.
that one.
Don't have a dog in that
I'm on
race?
the other side of town.
That's great.
Well, I pay a lot of attention to Daytona because obviously that is the heart of our county as far as the economic engine. You know, Deltona's
Absolutely.
awesome, but I mean, we have the speedway, we have the beach, as you pointed, we have the airport. You know, we have so many of the features that
Colleges,
are really
universities,
important to
right.
Volusia County.
Hey, we
Yeah.
have Amazon.
Colleges. Yeah,
You do.
We have Amazon.
That's true.
Well, we
I
have
have
all
a
your
pickup
trucks.
zone.
Okay. there you
We
go.
see all your trucks. We all do. All right, at this time, open it up. Let's call it open mic. How about predictions?
Oh,
Wide open.
predictions.
Wow.
COVID, you will not hear. You will actually go a 24-hour period without someone mentioning the word COVID to you once we pass the new year.
Well, I predicted early in the show, before that we three were on, that gas would be $2.99 by the end of the year. Well, obviously, we've already surpassed that, so I'm going to predict it's going to be $3.25 by the end of the year.
Very good. Ruben?
I think in the next 6 months, we're going to have to close the border
Wow.
in order to
I can
control
only
it.
hope.
Wow. Strong. Great. Well, I hope you guys had a good time. I enjoyed the conversations. Thanks for including us here at the Observer. And again, thanks for joining us on Observations. Look forward to our next episode. Stay in touch.